21 years later, I think NCIS Pilot is still its best episode. Hello everyone, I am Karistina. Welcome back to my channel. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for the latest news updates. The NCIS Pilot celebrates its 21st anniversary, and after all these years I still think it is the best episode in the show. As one of the longest-running scripted shows on TV, NCIS is already an institution. It has birthed several spin-offs, including a new Leroy Jethro Gibbs prequel in NCIS Origins, as well as Michael Weatherly and Cote de Pablo's NCIS Tony and Ziva on Paramount+. I know that other shows from the NCIS franchise have their own fans, but I personally prefer the flagship series even after more than 2 decades on the air. CBS hit franchise recently celebrated a milestone, with NCIS overall 1000th episode. The accolade includes outings from all other shows in the universe, but the celebratory offering was done via the mothership, considering that it has around 450 episodes from the bulk. As someone who has watched them, I admit that not all of them were created equally. That's inevitable, however, considering the changes that NCIS faced over the years, from cast shuffling to behind-the-scenes personnel changes. Out of everything that NCIS has come out thus far, I still believe that its very first episode remains its best one. NCIS Pilot celebrates its 21st anniversary. Ahead of NCIS Season 22's premiere in October 2024, the show is celebrating its 21st anniversary of the release of its premiere episode. Debuting on September 23, 2004, NCIS Season 1 episode Yankee White properly debuted Mark Harmon as Leroy Jethro Gibbs and his major case response team based in Navy Yard. I was reminded of this milestone when NCIS official Instagram posted a carousel of stills from the set outing, making me realize that after all these years I still think that it's the best NCIS episode. For those who don't know, however, before Yankee White, Gibbs and the MCRT first made their on-screen appearance in JAG Season 8 episodes 20 and 21, Ice Queen and Meltdown. While I acknowledge the existence of these stories, I still think that NCIS as we know it didn't start until its actual proper premiere episode, primarily because it featured the official inaugural cast. Gibbs' JAG team looked slightly different from what we eventually got in the main series because there was some cast shuffling that happened behind the scenes. Yankee White has all the best elements of an NCIS episode. NCIS has done many great episodes in over 20 years. That said, what I think sets Yankee White apart is the fact that it has all the best elements that make it the TV institution that it is today. For context, it features Gibbs and his only field agent then, Anthony DiNozzo Jr., responding to a mysterious death aboard Air Force One which was part of an assassination plot against the president. Pair, with the help of then-secret agent Caitlin Todd, successfully apprehended the culprit just in time before he could execute his crime. I argue that Yankee White is the best representation of NCIS. For starters, it features a great case. It is tense and keeps the viewers guessing until the end. Stakes are also high, considering that it involves the safety of the president and the attack on Air Force One. Back then, it felt like NCIS was just a fringe government agency, something that other people made fun of. Since then, doing the work and not being credited for it has become its motto, and Yankee White establishes that when Gibbs allows FBI's Tobias Fornell to handle the press. Finally, and perhaps the most important aspect of NCIS premiere is how it handles its characters. As a pilot, there's pressure on efficiently establishing its ensemble, and I knew right after watching the episode the quirks and signature traits of Gibbs' inaugural team. The banter is also superb, a storytelling aspect that endures and arguably what makes watching NCIS so much more enjoyable even after hundreds of episodes. NCIS 1000th episode paid tribute to its pilot, making it better. It was already more than 20 years since Yankee White, and yet it was still recently able to pay tribute to it. Case was revisited in NCIS 1000th episode when MCRT discovered that the new threat they were facing was the daughter of the suspect in the pilot named Leonard Reish. While there was no inaugural NCIS character that returned to help work the case, Fornell was around to provide the information about the Reish family. Apparently, after the events of Yankee White, the FBI's investigation led them to discover Leonard's manifesto, which was eventually found by Lindsay Reish. Ideally, I would have wanted NCIS 1000th episode to bring back someone from the team that worked on the original Reish case. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible with Gibbs retired, Abby Ciuto in London, Ducky Mallard and Todd dead, and DiNozzo just returning in the David McCallum tribute outing. Nonetheless, this retroactive way of adding to the story of Yankee White only further convinces me that it is indeed the best episode in the show. Source: NCIS/Instagram. Michael Weatherly would have needed someone to put a gun to my head to do NCIS Los Angeles's. NCIS spawned one of many spin-offs when it inspired the creation of NCIS Los Angeles. But Michael Weatherly initially felt it was a bad idea to overlap with the second series. Michael Weatherly didn't want an NCIS crossover with Los Angeles's. NCIS had a successful experiment with spin-offs that started with NCIS Los Angeles. As its title implies, Los Angeles followed a group of federal agents hunting down dangerous criminals in the city. Starring LL Cool J and Chris O'Donnell, the show was a success from the start. Its debut episode was the second most watched show at the time, only behind NCIS Season 7 premiere. Although he seemed excited about the prospect of an NCIS spin-off, Weatherly felt it was a bad idea for Tony DiNozzo to cross over with the other show. He believed he worked best alongside his familiar crew. "I won't do a crossover unless they put a gun to my head," Weatherly once told TV Fanatic. "It won't help them, and my character is really only valuable in the context of Ziva, Gibbs, and McGee. Robbed of his context, that guy might really be inappropriate." However, Weatherly seemed to change his tune years later. He did a crossover episode with Los Angeles in the 2015 episode, Blame It on Rio. This time, a Weatherly who was a bit older seemed to embrace being in another different environment on the show. "They're a peak experience for someone like me. For 13 years, besides a tiny part here and there, I've just been playing DiNozzo. So having other experiences with the character is super important to me. Plus, I love to see how DiNozzo travels, how he'll be in different settings. On NCIS, he can only do so much," he said in a resurfaced interview with TV Insider. At the same time, he harbored similar concerns appearing on Los Angeles that he had several years prior. "About going into NCIS Los Angeles because I wasn't sure how DiNozzo would be received, not just by the team but by the audience," Weatherly said. "Would he mesh with them? Look, I'm the same age as LL Cool J, and I think we were the oldest guys on set next to Miguel Ferrer. But that's the funny thing. Rather than having to play a faux youth like on NCIS, hello lovely viewers, welcome to my channel. I am Christina. Hope your day is so well. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.